Top 5 musicians who hated Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan, a legendary figure in folk music who revolutionized songwriting, is recognized as one of the most impactful artists in history. His unique raspy voice, groundbreaking lyrics, and nonconformist approach changed the perception of what a songwriter could be. From influential protest anthems like Blowin' in the Wind to his contentious decision to switch to electric guitar at Newport, his influence is clear. He is a cultural icon, a legend, and even a Nobel Prize laureate. For over 50 years, Dylan has been a pivotal force in popular music, with countless famous musicians covering his songs, sometimes even elevating their popularity. Throughout his extraordinary career, he has crafted some of the most iconic lyrics in music history and continues to create new work. However, Dylan's music may not resonate with everyone. His extensive body of work can be daunting for newcomers, and some listeners criticize his style as whiny or less refined compared to other artists of his time. Despite earning significant praise, not all musicians have appreciated Dylan or his manner. Some of his peers have been quite vocal about their disdain for him. Here are 5 musicians who hated Bob Dylan the most. John Lennon. John Lennon viewed Bob Dylan as a crucial influence in his songwriting, often adopting a more reflective style and considering Dylan a role model. However, their dynamic shifted over the years. In 1979, many were taken aback when Dylan embraced Christianity, a transformation evident in his album Slow Train Coming. Lennon, who had great respect for Dylan's impact on folk music, was surprised by this shift. In a recorded monologue, Lennon harshly criticized Dylan's recent material, labeling it pathetic and taking issue with the instrumentals and lyrics. He remarked, "He wants to be a waiter for Christ. The backing is mediocre, the singing's really pathetic, and the words were just embarrassing." Joni Mitchell. It's well known that Bob Dylan has embellished aspects of his life to cultivate his enigmatic image. While it's typical for artists to create a sense of mystique, Joni Mitchell found Dylan's approach somewhat disingenuous. Initially, Dylan inspired Mitchell, but later they became peers and collaborators. She admired his innovative perspective on folk music, especially how his song Positively 4th Street shifted her view on musical expression, inspiring her to write more freely. However, after touring together on the Rolling Thunder Revue, Mitchell's opinion shifted dramatically. "Bob and I are like night and day," she observed. "Bob is not authentic at all. He's a plagiarist, and everything about him is deceptive." While some found it ironic given that Mitchell also changed her name, many were intrigued by her evolving perspective. By 2013, she remained critical, stating, "Musically, Dylan's not very talented, he's borrowed his voice from old hillbillies. He's not a great guitar player and has created a character to present his music." On a personal note, she even complained about sharing a microphone with him due to his unpleasant breath. "Bob is not authentic at all. He's a plagiarist, and everything about him is deceptive." Liam Gallagher. Liam Gallagher is known for his candidness, frequently airing his grievances, from infamous disputes with his brother Noel to his disdain for bands like Radiohead. Bob Dylan remains a perennial reference for emerging songwriters and is highly regarded as one of the greatest songwriters in history. Yet Gallagher isn't shy about criticizing legends like Dylan. He has verbally sparred with numerous celebrities, including his brother, with whom he had a falling out that led to the disbandment of Oasis in 2009. Recently, Gallagher expressed his lack of appreciation for Dylan's music, calling it miserable. "I know all about him, but he's a bit miserable. People go crazy for him, but I don't. All those people singing their big hits are just miserable." David Crosby. On the surface, Bob Dylan and David Crosby appear to be polar opposites, two strongly opinionated rock musicians unafraid to ruffle feathers. Crosby described Dylan as a very interesting guy to be friends with, but he didn't hold back in other interviews. Speaking with the LA Times, Crosby remarked that old, weird Bob is crazy. He believed that Dylan's ability to produce great music justified his eccentric behavior. "When you look at an artist, you should focus on their art. Their art speaks for them better than they do. That's where you see who they are." Paul Simon. Paul Simon and Bob Dylan shared a complex, competitive relationship, with Simon frequently voicing his criticisms of Dylan. While he recognized Dylan's influence and talent, Simon grew frustrated by the constant comparisons between them, particularly as they were both prominent figures in the 1960s folk scene. As his career evolved, he expressed dislike for always being seen as second to Dylan, stating, "I usually come in second to Dylan, and I don't like coming in second." Simon vented his frustration by parodying Dylan in the song A Simple Desultory Philippic. While Simon didn't harbor personal animosity toward Dylan, his critiques stemmed from a mix of professional rivalry, exasperation with comparisons, and differing artistic approaches. Nonetheless, Dylan's musical legacy is firmly established. What could have driven such prominent musicians of the 20th century to harbor such strong aversions to Bob Dylan? Share your thoughts in the comments below.